request for
sound. I've invited you to co-host instead, so you should be able to accept that.
Yeah, I can see I'm a listener still, but
Have you accepted the co-host?
join as co-host, accept. Yes, okay.
Oh.
Now I need to
Well,
click the YouTube link.
That is loud. And I don't need to hear you. But microphone on. Need to make
Yeah,
we're gonna have to leave the microphone on the whole time. So fun and games. Fun and games. Well, we should be live on YouTube now. We should be live on
I
YouTube
believe
as well.
so. I believe so.
If you're watching on YouTube, give us a little, well, not a wave because you're not on video, but like, give us a sign, just a sign. That'd be great. You might want to unmute your mic on the space as well, mate.
Yeah, all good, all fine.
Sound as a pound. Well, something different. We are doing a pair of phonies this week. We don't have the other guys with us. They're all busy doing. Well, everyone's been busy around
stuff.
Christmas, New Year. You know, it's a busy time of year, right? It's a busy time of year, and me and Mac thought we'd jump on anyway and sort of make it into a little bit of a sort of like an end of year tech discussion and sort of have a look at how things have progressed compared to like 2022 and maybe even look at what we're expecting for 2024, that sort of thing. We've already got apologies to anybody that joins us in the space, but we're probably going to be replying to YouTube comments quite a bit. But we've got Scoop in the chat. Yo, Scoop. Hope you're doing well, mate. And I'm going to change that actually because that theme is very weird. There we go. Hope you're doing well, bud. Just a shout out to Scoop as well. I mean, he's done some cool stuff this year. He was doing a little gig for Aston Martin Formula One team in Vegas not long back, which was very cool. Some photography stuff. Moving up, Scoop, we're doing some cool things, man. 2023, I would say, has been a pretty positive year, especially in terms of mobile tech. But I think we should probably just go back a little bit to 2022 first. And I think 2022 was a little bit. It wasn't fantastic. So you think about the main devices that people were buying. You're talking iPhone 14s, 14 Pros, S22s.
My goodness.
Right. So it was quite a different landscape, I would say, last year, just because on the Android side, the SoCs and things were not particularly fantastic.
Yes.
The iPhones were a little bit underwhelming as well. And you also had the issue with Samsung that we had Snapdragon in some regions, we had Exynos in other regions, including this region right here. And that was kind of off-putting, and also it was difficult to justify in a lot of ways, having an Exynos in a Samsung whenever other people are getting Snapdragons and you're still paying the same or more. So there were still some good devices. We still had some good devices in 2022, but what do you think were the main issues back then, would you say? I mean, we're probably going to have the same thoughts on that anyway, but...
Yeah. So I think that you actually hit the nail on the head. I will say that the main issue in 2021 was the quality of chips. And this is not only related to like Exynos being Exynos, right? But also, well, Tensor is this is up for a debate if this was problematic or not. But Tensor is just being Tensor since the first iteration. But for the most part of the year, I would say that even Snapdragon have struggled, right? The 8 Gen 1 was like better than Exynos on a few occasions, but it was really a power hungry and a very hot chip. And when I'm thinking about 2023 versus 2022, actually not much has changed, right? When you look at the Samsung flagships, pretty much only the SoC has changed. When I look at well, even the Pixel, the Tensor G2, I feel was like a visibly more polished iteration than the G1, and also the device itself was much more polished. But yeah, mostly the SoCs changed. I mean, the switch to TSMC was a crucial step. And even during 2022, when the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 was presented and put into the first devices, I remember having the S22 Ultra and the Fold 4. And my goodness, that they were both Samsung flagships from the same year, but one had Exynos and one had Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 made by TSMC. And how those devices worked, it was like night and day difference. I was amazed that Samsung can be so good and can work so well. So yeah, I would say that the chips were the main issue when it comes to 2022 in comparison to 2023. 2023 was a big step up. The 8 Gen 2 being like the next step after 8 Plus Gen 1, only better in pretty much every way. And this only this changed opened so much chances for a lot of devices, mainly Samsungs, because yeah, we didn't have to deal with Exynos finally. So yeah, I would say that this change was the main fuel for like the takeoff that, in my opinion, at least Android devices have had during this year.
It was, yeah, I think it was very interesting, sort of seeing how
Mhm.
how much it benefited Samsung having the 8 Gen 2 this year compared to last year with the 8 Gen 1 and the Exynos, because they were so inconsistent. They still had quite a lot of problems. I mean, a lot of the Android phones had issues with, throttling, overheating, that sort of thing. But
Yes,
Samsung just didn't really manage it that well.
at all.
No, and I think, was it the same year we had the thing come out that they were sort of manipulating the
Yeah, the GOS,
that was it. Yeah,
game optimization
yeah,
service. Yeah. It
yeah.
was on the Exynos 2200 and the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. It was the S22 Ultra series that this came out as an issue, which I don't actually think that it was as big of an issue as people were making it to be honest. But yeah, it was still sweeping some issues under the rug, nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely. And then you look at other devices. Um, you had some devices that really struggled with the temperatures, throttling, and such, and then you had others that managed it really well. You had, the likes of Oppo that managed it really well
Hmm.
with like the Find X5 series, or the X5 Pro, should I say? And then you had the likes of Sony that just didn't manage it at all.
Yeah.
Which it was very, very contrasting, and just interesting to see how different manufacturers manage things there. I think some just underestimated, how difficult they would be to manage,
Yeah,
and just didn't compensate enough.
yeah.
But this year we haven't had that issue at all. I don't think there is a phone that even
Hmm.
even the Sonys don't struggle
So
with thermals.
I believe that Xiaomi 13 and 13 Pro, at least at the time of their release, they were having some issues, but it wasn't like as critical as with like Sony last year, but in 2022. But still, that they weren't able to finish benchmarks. For example, Antutu or 3D Mark, because they were overheating. And I believe that even with the 14 Pro and Xiaomi 14 that already were released with Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, they also have the same issue. But I believe that this is not specifically the issue of the chip, more like the issue of let's just put the newest SoC into the phone before anyone else does, right? So
Yeah.
they are not giving themselves enough time to prepare those devices. So I think that it will get better, but yeah, those devices struggled a bit at first, at least.
How do you think? How did you, well, there wasn't really that. I was going to say, well, how do you think the iPhones fared compared to 2022 going into this year? But there's not really been. Oof,
Sorry.
careful.
Yeah, yeah. I had my chair like swing back, but
Too relaxed.
yeah, yeah. I think that's my daughters might have something to do with it. But when it comes to the iPhones this year, to be honest, this was one of the biggest surprises for me, at least positive surprises, because I remember trying the 14 Pro Max, and I had the 13 Pro Max, and I think that 13 Pro Max was a really amazing device,
Mm.
especially in contrast with what Android provided back then. There was like this gap with SoCs and with battery and screen quality was so big at the time. And I remember that 13 Pro Max was really great. And the only thing that ruined it for me was comparing the telephoto camera with Pixel 6 Pro, which was like, oh, uncomparable. But yeah, I've tried the 14 Pro Max, and I remember being like, okay, like this doesn't have like any like at least one thing that would pull me to the Apple side. Okay, it had a great ProRAW, which I will hand it to them. This is the best raw photography the smartphones that I've used produced so far. But other than that, I was really bored with it and decided that no, this is not the year to jump ships. But this year I got the 15 Pro Max mostly just to like compare it to the Pixel, and I was fully ready to give the iPhone back after a few days. But I don't know, was it like finally the USB-C and not being forced to carry the Lightning cable, or was it like the slightly lesser weight, or maybe I don't know the 5 times telephoto that suddenly gave us some more options. But I was really really happy with this device, and even though the SoC gap that was in past in the last few years between Android and iOS got like pretty much closed with the Gen 2. Um, there were still some applications that were working visibly better on the iPhone. For example, the Lightroom. I'm using Lightroom Mobile a lot, and while the edit process is like pretty the same on every device, putting on a filter, putting on a AI mask, or exporting photos, it's still much quicker on the iPhone. And I
Is that just
remember that
because it's just better optimized?
and that's
I know what
totally
Adobe.
sure.
Adobe are a bit funny
Yeah,
about these things, but
I actually don't think that this is a matter of like raw performance. It's like you said, a matter of optimization. But I was like so happy with this device, and I was really close to like let the Pixel go, let the S23 Ultra go, and just stay with the iPhone.
I remember.
And yeah, and I think that the only thing that's like really put me off from this was the fact that I was like selling my MacBook, and I was going to build a PC, and I thought that okay, iPhone is more expensive still, even though the Pixels got the price hike this year. But iPhone is more expensive, and additionally, I won't be able to use any like ecosystem features because I'm selling the MacBook. So not yet, not yet. But yeah, I think that the 15 Pro Max was really a pleasant surprise for me this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I went with the 15 Pro
Hmm.
this year.
Yeah,
I don't usually do iPhone
yeah,
at
I
all.
know.
I mean, I did have the 13 Pro on loan for a little while, a couple of years back, and I actually thought that was a very nice phone. I thought it was a really, really nice phone. And
Hmm.
but I still never felt like I wanted to have an iPhone.
Hmm.
The 14 series never did that for me. I just had no interest. I think this year, like you say, it's all the little things added up. USB C, the weight's a little bit better. You've got the better cameras.
Hmm.
It just seems to just I don't know. It's like it almost has the basics covered at last,
Yes,
if that makes
exactly.
sense. And yeah, I mean, I do like the 15 Pro. It's got some issues that uh, you know, I struggle with a little bit, but overall, it's a
Hmm.
very, very good phone. And if it wasn't for the fact that I just want to try other phones, I probably would keep it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think Apple's done a. It'll be interesting to see what Apple can do next year. Um, because they'd have to do quite a bit to make them significantly better than what we have this year. I'm not really sure what they can actually do. It's a tricky
If
one.
I, yeah, if I would like have to guess, I would say that they will improve the sensor behind the ultra wide lens, and at least in the Pro Max, and they will implement the 5 times telephoto in iPhone 15 Pro.
Mm.
But yeah, sadly, to for us to get like a really big and high quality sensor behind the 5 times lens optics, I believe it's still like 2 or 3 years from now. So we'll just have to wait. We'll just have to wait
Sam's here.
for this one.
Sam was requesting to join the space. We are, as you can see, doing a double show. So if you want to join the space, I'm afraid you also have to join the YouTube. So it is possible if you want to do that. I have no problem you joining, mate. If you want to do that, same goes to David. But yeah, I thought going back again to 2022 and going into 2023, I thought Sony was one of the bigger, was actually one of the bigger improvements that we saw. Um, we went from the 8 Gen 1 to the 8 Gen 2, which got rid of the main issue of
Hmm.
the Mark IV series,
Yeah,
and then they also added a brand new main sensor using completely new tech, which
yeah,
was for me. I really liked that sensor. I thought it was really really good, and they just added lots of other little bits as well, just to improve that phone, especially the one Mark V. And I'm now hoping that sort of going into next year that they really focus on that telephoto, because if they can add a bigger sensor to it and have that variable telephoto still, um, that would be really nice to have an upgrade for. Because I'm not really sure what else they'd upgrade yet. I'm not really that bothered about the ultra wide. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like the main lens is wide enough anyway. So just telephotos. Give us all the telephotos. That's what we want.
Yeah, I remember when they announced the variable range of the telephoto with 1 Mark IV. I was so hyped. I mean, if I would have to specify one like futuristic thing that I would like for the phones to get pretty soon, I would say would be for manufacturers to figure out a way to slap one big high quality like 1 inch sensor in the phone, and to be able to, well, not maybe have the variable range across like from 1x to 10x, because there's simply not enough room in there, but for them to somehow figure out the way to use 2 or 3 lenses on the same sensor, if you know what I mean, because um, we know that at first there was like a race with who will have the highest megapixel count, right? Then we've started the race with the number of cameras on the phone, which was simply like stupid, having those 2 megapixel black and white depth cameras that
Pointless.
didn't really do anything. Yeah. But now we are slowly starting to get to the point where manufacturers are really treating those accompanying lenses like ultra wide and telephoto with as much criticality as the main lens. And I would really like to have something that Vivo has done right now, and I don't know, maybe the new Oppo X7 Pro or X7 Ultra will go the same way, but to really have a good sensor behind all 3 lenses. Usually, like, if I would specify this for myself, I would just like to have one behind the main camera and behind the telephoto. I can like drop the ultra wide lens altogether. I'm not using it at all. But yeah, that would be really great. And I remember when Sony launched the 1 Mark IV and showed the variable range, I was saying that yes, this is the way to go. This is the way to go. Put a big sensor to the back of the phone, and and make it possible for us to use different ranges on the one big sensor. Well, I guess that Sony is still
well, that would save having multiple telephotos on there as well. Like, you know, you've got some going like 3x and then like 5 something 6x, you know. I mean, Sony does 3.5 to 5.2, I think it is, on the Mark IV and Mark V. So yeah. Sam.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah, we got off a little early today. I guess most government is off. U.S. government's off. Yeah, so what the heck?
Boss, I cannot hear Sam right now, to be honest. Give me a second.
Really?
Yeah, that's probably me. That's probably me.
I think he might have disappeared from the Twitter space, but.
Oh, let me see if I can check that whole.
Okay.
Unless it's giving me false information. You never know. Got Alex in the tech. Alex Tech in the chat. That's better. Alex Gear in Tech. Good to see Alex. We've got Ibrahim in there now as well. Obviously, Sam's there. We've got David. We've got Jimmy. Scoop's been in there earlier. Very good. All very good.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining. I can see and I believe I can hear Sam too as well.
Okay. Well, good. Yeah. So you guys are having a pretty healthy discussion. So sorry I didn't mean to interrupt or segue or cause any issues. I didn't even set up my background. I still have I didn't put the black thing up. So
just Ibrahim's first ever super chat. I really appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much.
Oh, and he sent you the GBPs.
And just a heads up, the GBPs. Just a heads up as well. We are going to be doing a few more of the Phoneys chats on YouTube. And then we are going to be pushing that off to its own brand new channel. So just throwing the information out there. It's just there. We're just doing a few on my channel at the minute, just to test it and get an idea for it, let everybody know, and then we'll probably start throwing the link out in the next few. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Sam,
Sir.
how have you found tech this year?
Complicated, interesting, frustrating, and everything else in between.
So the usual.
Yeah, the usual.
Yeah.
You know, I guess the last thing that really kind of makes me all giggle is the hubbub about the Apple Watch. I think it's hilarious.
Oh, the US thing at the minute, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, there was actually I was buying my father-in-law his Apple Watch SE only because I didn't care about the 9 and the band or anything. I just didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on my dad, who's one of those like, I don't need that damn Apple Watch thingy. It's just crap. Anyway, so we bought that for him, and then so I was staying in line, and somebody was getting an Apple Watch 9 and all this stuff, and they were complaining about it, and this is ridiculous, and Biden needs to step in. I'm like, why does the president of the United States need to override a judicial order? I don't think he wants to be there with that.
No.
It was just funny listening to this person talk. I'm like, well, you know, you use somebody's tech, you don't buy the company, then you don't give them money, and then you steal the tech, and then you sell billions of dollars worth of stuff. Yeah, you're probably going to have to pay them a little bit of money. It's their tech.
Awkward.
I mean, you kind of using it without permission.
Get the president to sort it out right now.
Yeah. Oh my God, we're gonna do all the Apple Watches, and we're gonna get them.
You're really good at doing impressions of presidents. Have you ever been told that?
Yeah, no, it's just like, come on, man, it's the chips and sets, man. Get you an iWatch. You know, it's fine. It's whatever. I just thought it was hilarious how people thought he was gonna actually go, yeah, forget that injunction. We're just gonna go ahead and wipe that out because it's Apple, right? It's like, I don't think you want him to do that ever. So. Interesting. So yeah, it was a good year. I mean, I got some phones. I got the Fold 5.
Yes.
Kind of a little irritated about the Duo 3 and Duo thing not being a thing because Microsoft. Duh. And I've really enjoyed. Honestly, I've enjoyed the new Flippy Dippy.
Flippy Dippy.
Yeah, the new Razor. I'm kind of digging it.
I just to say we've been talking a bit about like 2022 going into 2023, like how the devices have improved from last year to this year. Mm. Do you see anything significant in that yourself?
Well, at least from just the Moto standpoint, first of all, their software updates have gotten better. I mean, they've committed to the Razor. You know, I didn't have the last year's Razor, so as far as hardware, I'm not sure. I can tell you having the usable outside screen's been really, really nice. So I think Moto's doing a pretty good job. I think Moto's the new budget player, right? The LG is gone. All those other brands are gone. And in the United States, we don't have access to, unfortunately, the iQOOs and the Realmes and the Oppos and we don't have that here, and unlikely going to happen. So really, Moto has kind of filled in that space. They filled that gap of the budget and lower end space, and I don't get me wrong, I love the Samsung and I love having all that stuff, but I really like it. I mean, I just noticed though when you open up, it's like 6.9. It's a rather kind of tall, big device. You don't really notice it because
and it's a little bit slightly different ratio, right? So it's a little bit taller and thinner, a little bit more like how an Xperia is.
But
it's
even like a 20.5.9, almost 21. But it's just you don't really appreciate it until you're actually in public and go, damn man, this is it's a lot bigger of a phone than you would anticipate just because of it's almost 7 inches. That's a pretty decent. I mean, that's a pretty good size. You're starting to get into the tablet neighborhood when you start getting into that label. So I like it. I really have enjoyed it more than I thought I would actually, because I thought I've heard it's not a Samsung and the hardware is not as good and it feels kind of. I like it. It's actually, I think they're doing pretty good. They're improving. So
you think
nice the
foldables have improved quite a bit? Or do you think it's just more?
I think small? I think we're small iterations. I don't think we're there 100%. I still think that clearly my Fold 5, my Xperia that I had for years, like XZ1, and then my Lumias. I mean, I'm sure if I use those for 6 or 7 years, I'm sure they'll still work, right? I would highly doubt, or I would, if I were a betting person, I would probably take the under on this phone with decent use would be viable in 5 years. I just don't think that that's really what these devices are going to be for. Maybe at some point the technology gets better, the folds get better, or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's durability is going to be a concern with the foldable device. It just is. It's not designed to fold in half. It just isn't there, and it's a lot of engineering.
It will be interesting because obviously these phones do have software support for like 5, 6, 7. I mean, the next Pixel Fold should have 7 years to match the other Pixels. So I would be very interested, and I am very tempted to get one of those and run it for the full 7 years. Just as an experiment.
And Moto is like pushing the boundaries in here, right? Because right now, up till like the Z Fold 4 and now Z Fold Flip 4 and Flip 5, like the lowest point that you could get a foldable was like $1,000 with Samsung, and right now with Moto it's like 600-ish, something that, right? For the basic one.
I think they're even selling for like 500 at the minute.
The smaller one was $499, and this one was $699. That's
this is the price point when I think that a lot more and more people will like to try them. And up until now, it was mostly like enthusiast stuff, right? People that were buying those devices knew that, okay, we are the first learners and we are doing some form of a beta testing. And we knew that, okay, this is like device for maybe 2 years, maybe 3, right? And we are aware of this. But people that are going to like be buying those right now for $500 or $600, they might not have the same like level of perception how this all works, and they might be kind of surprised when more and more issues will pop up, because Samsung, like after those 4 years, they already, I believe that they are still ahead when it comes to like the durability right now and the technology. Even now the OnePlus Open, which I adore, this is an amazing device, at least for me, and but the durability isn't there. I mean, I can see a lot of issues on Twix right now when people are saying that, okay, they've been using it for like 2 or 3 months and the screen just broke. And I don't believe that we've been seeing as much similar issues with Samsungs. And I believe that like the amount of Samsung Folds that were sold versus the Oppo Open, OnePlus Oppo Open, telling,
same thing. 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. It's fair.
OnePlus Open versus how many OnePlus Open devices have been sold. We should be seeing much more faulty Samsungs if they were like with the same level of durability right now. So I believe that Samsung is still ahead, and it might be interesting to see how people are going to perceive those durability issues now with those like next year or two with those cheaper devices.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that the price point isn't indicating the less quality. I hope that's just not it. I just don't think that Moto can really pull that off, right? You have to be able, you can't hit that $9.99 at a dollar for dollar or pound for pound, as it were, or euro for euro comparison. Yeah, the Samsung is, people are going to probably pick it up, but that's the reason why Moto's moving those phones down to try to make it more
cheaper
affordable.
tech, just all the tech,
And also, I noticed that when I did buy that, the Flip 5 was at $799 in the best.
Okay.
Yes.
So Samsung was trying to, they're clearly paying attention to those market trends. They are not stupid. They're a $1 trillion company probably, or whatever, a couple $100 billion company for a reason. Trust me, they think they're stupid. They're pretty smart people that work in these companies. I'm pretty sure they're not idiots. They may not do what you want to do, and they may not move the needle the way you want to move them. But if you think there's a whole bunch of engineers and development and R&D and tech and coders who don't know what they're doing, pretty sure they're not. They're pretty good. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's a reason why they are there and we are here, right?
Right. They're there, and we're sitting here.
Maybe there was a lot more guys like us with Windows
There could be something
departments.
to it. I don't know. There could be some evidence to indicate that maybe they have a thing figured out or two.
David says no. They're all stupid because they don't do what I want.
Well,
Shut up, General Techie on Twitter.
Yeah. No. Yeah, there was a look. I saw that. Also, I did finally buy a classic. I finally, dude. The oldest one but the newest one I had, or the watch I had, was the GT, the old Huawei GT. It's like older and dirt. And I'm getting this thing. I mean, it's
That's
nice.
all I have. I've got the Watch 4.
Yeah, I got the 6
which I don't
classic.
use because I've got my watch. But
and although I'm kind of thinking about the 47 being a little bit too, it's a little kind of big. I have smaller wrists, so maybe the 43. I just went for the bigger screen and battery, so it isn't too bad.
To it.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but I definitely got to ditch this band because I want either Milanese or like a. I had another one.
Not keen on that sort of like. Is it like a sand color or something like?
Yeah, I don't mind the color. I don't even mind the material. I just don't like. I hate this. I don't like. I like just either Milanese. You can just always adjust it, or if you have like a nylon one, it'll move a little bit because you're a little bit of player. You don't have to keep adjusting all the time. It kind of moves with your wrist. So I'm gonna probably switch that out and get something new. But so far, it's been really good. I'm really enjoying the stuff I can do with it.
Yeah, just going back to what you were on about, Matt, with the Samsung foldables by comparison. The hinges seem to be nicer to use compared to the others.
Mm-hmm.
They just seem to function better. I think the other companies are trying to push things like making it look flatter and make it look like there's less of a crease and all these sorts of things. But I had the Oppo Find N2 Flip, and my God, that thing just would not stay in place.
Really?
Like, you had to have it like at that angle. If you sort of put it to like there, it'd then snap open.
Yeah.
And then your camera housing's like whacking on the table or something. Like, you were like, oh no. It was horrendous. But the thing that I really like doing with the foldables is actually be able to fold it and have it like prop itself up for like for a shot with the camera.
Yeah, flex mode, right?
I did post a video from the Fold 4 of like the dogs in Starbucks, like having their puppuccino. I just put the Fold 4 on the table, set it up at an angle, and you're away. The Oppo could not do that.
Mm-hmm.
It just couldn't do it. And I kind of feel like they just need to. I obviously I've not played with the Open or the N3 or whatever you want to call it, but I don't know. I don't know what the hinge is like by comparison. I've not really seen anybody mention that.
Some people had mentioned, I guess, I don't want to say durability issues or whatever. I noticed. I guess they noticed the variance between the way the Samsung operates and the hinge mechanism versus, and like I said, the fact that it's got once you get to like I think 155 or 160 degrees, it wants to kind of push.
The first time I smacked that open on a table with no case on it, I was like, oh shit! I thought I smashed it.
Snap!
I thought I smashed it.
Yeah, I hit the table. With,
yeah, Alex is saying that both flip and fold hinges are so smooth, and he just couldn't get on with the flip.
I didn't get on with the flip. The Find
I get you.
Yeah,
I'm a fold guy. If I would,
Sam likes his flip though.
I like both. I mean, you've got
true.
At the end of the day, then of course, then you just have to, I got that, and then that.
Of course. I am loaning a Duo soon, so I just want to.
I just like right there. You sounded really American, right? Of course.
It
was. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, sometimes I just flip accents for no reason. It's a thing I do. I don't know why.
No, the other day I wrote an email to somebody and I put behavior and I spelled it with a U.
Well.
And I wasn't even like, and I almost sent it out. I'm gonna be like, the hell? So it's
I wasn't even sorry.
and it's happening, right? It's happening. I don't know. It's the terms and like that kind of thing. It's like, oh Jesus, I don't. The accent I don't have. But it's definitely the wording and the phrasing and the slang. I'm starting to kind of calling a takeaway.
We're infecting
stuff like that.
you. We're slowly taking over again.
Right.
David, guess what? For Christmas, my wife got me a used LG Quantum, the first Windows phone I owned that my friend ended up smashing when I was in university. Oh. LG Quantum.
Wow.
Holy hell.
That's a cool gift.
That's going back. Is that the Windows Phone 7?
Oh, I'm assuming so, yeah.
Yeah. Oof. That's cool. Your wife bought you that.
Wow.
She knows you well.
That's right.
She knows you very well.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when
that's pretty cool.
Alex, when you start saying aluminium,
The aluminium.
aluminium.
I don't think I'm gonna go that far. I think I might have to draw the line in the sand on the aluminium, aluminium or whatever.
You can't be perfect.
Well, you know, I mean, like, hey, you know what? 3 for 5 is not bad. That's pretty good.
Not bad at all. Anything you are looking forward to in the coming year, chaps? What are we thinking?
Oh man, I was gonna say Duo 3, but that's not gonna happen.
Hey, you
I
never
would
know.
I would like to honestly. I know it's not for you, gentlemen, because you aren't about that flip life. But I'd love to see if Google comes out with a Pixel Flip. I would think that would be interesting.
I might be more interested in a Pixel Flip.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. I would like to see that, or conversely, Motorola get into the space and have a Motorola folding, right? So kind of cross thing, right? You get your clippy dippy on the Google Pixel line, and then you get the Motorola comes into with some kind of folding device. I would like to see.
I think folding devices this year will be interesting.
Yeah,
because I think you've got the Pixel Fold sequel after their tester device, which I think they need to do a lot more this time round. Yeah. You're going to have the AI features because you'll have Tensor G3. They should have better screens and things. They might be able to sell it in more places potentially.
Yeah. I'm
just looking forward to seeing what they do with that, because it is the form factor that I want. It's the form factor I want. So that's the one that I've got my eye on. And I think Samsung really needs to start. They've got to start doing something. Because
if they kick out,
need to start actually developing things a bit further now, pushing things a bit more.
If they come out with a Fold 6 that just has a G3, a Gen 3 in it, and that's it,
yeah,
that's bad news. Yeah. I cannot imagine that they I think they already had the 5 kind of in development pipeline. They kind of had to go with what they had. I don't think they really.
Well, I honestly could see them just saying, oh, it's got a Gen 3, and oh look, you can put the S Pen inside now.
Yeah, you could. I just, like I said, I think they got a little caught flat-footed with the way other companies were moving with their development, and then also they had already had the Fold 5 in pipeline and pretty much was totally ready to go. I think now they've had 18 months of really kind of sitting back and seeing what that market looks like and seeing that it's been moving a little bit. I'd like to, if I tell you, somebody had a render which it looked like the back end of it looked like it had the S Pen silo and it had a larger screen. And it kind of looked like an S23 on Ultra in the back. They come out with that phone. Oh boy!
Do you think that would be just a bit too cumbersome though?
Oh,
it depends. I mean, yeah, if it's a similar sort of form factor, screen size, that's going to be a hefty boy.
But on the other hand, you're not buying a Fold to have a convenient small device, right?
Right.
I mean, if you want a small convenient device, you'll go along with the Flip. But when someone buys a Fold, I think that size shouldn't be an issue. I mean,
is weight as well?
No, I mean,
no.
Maybe I have a bad approach, but I don't mind. I have the phone, and I would appreciate the bigger canvas and the included S Pen much more than the dimensions or the weight would trouble me with this device. And I really hope that OnePlus Open would be a big enough pressure on Samsung on some markets to be able to go through with a more ambitious design this year.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Especially pushing cameras and things as well. They really need to upgrade those. So we could do a lot of upgrades from Samsung this year.
I agree with Mac. Like I said, I think if you're getting into that foldable space, the ability to have a sleek, manageable, pocketable, non-bulky, non-sort of heavy kind of phone, I think you're going to have to kind of throw that out the window. You're going to have to live in that world where if you're going to be rocking essentially a deployable tablet, that fold, you're going to have to. There's just things that come with that, right? You're just going to have to.
That's my approach.
Granted, it'd be nice if it was as thin as this.
That's nice. That's nice. But then, if you've got Yeah.
If someone would complain about,
I mean,
like,
the Pixel
size
Fold's
or
quite
weight,
heavy. The Pixel Fold's a heavy device,
Yeah, and I would say what I would like on the Pixel, if they do come out with the Pixel Fold 2, is they have got to improve that charging speed. That is not going. That has got to happen. There is no way. I think what they say, it's an hour and 40 minutes from dead to full. Because, dude,
really?
I don't know if that's true. I mean, somebody could
I
check me on
wouldn't be
it.
surprised.
But
I wouldn't be surprised.
That charging, I'm not talking super VOOC. Let's not. But I mean, let's get plus 40. Let's get 40 watt, 50 watt. If OnePlus can offer a 50 watt wireless charger, you guys can at least get 50 watts wired. Come on now. I mean, that is one thing that Google is just not. I don't understand why they cannot get behind at least faster charging. Maybe not lightning speed, 200 watt, super VOOC in 12 seconds charging, like microwave charging.
It's probably all to do with having cheaper batteries and not wanting to damage them and make them last. If you've got, fairly long software support, there's that.
On the other hand, the Fold is like £1,700, right? It's not cheaper than the Fold 5. It's not, and even the normal Pixel 8 and 8 Pro had a price hike this year. So, like, having a cheaper components, I wouldn't really go that far right now, because the price difference between the for example, S23 Ultra and Pixel 8 Pro is like £100, and if someone is putting out £1,000 on a device, I mean, going from £1,000 to £1,100, but gaining a much more efficient SoC, much like better speakers, better quality display, and better charging, better battery condition. And I would say it's worth paying a bit more to have all of those features in hand. Because, like, okay, this is not the case anymore. When, for example, the S22 Ultra was £1,200 and the Pixel 8 Pro was 800, right? It's not like 14. It's not like £400 difference anymore. It's closer to 100, £150 difference. So,
yeah,
I would be cautious with, like. I get that they can have cheaper parts, but I wouldn't use this as an excuse for them anymore, because the differences in pricing are not as big as they were before.
And I agree with. First of all, he puts an hour 32 minutes. This is ridiculous.
That is crazy.
And again, I 100% agree. No 1,800-pound phone should have cheap. Exactly. Sorry, at that price point,
it shouldn't. But when you look at, like, the fact that it's their first gen device, they're trying to keep costs down. It's costing them so much to make it because they're making so few of them.
But it's Google.
I mean, look at, like, Surface Duo. I mean, Surface Duo with like an 855, it didn't even have 5G.
Right. It doesn't, because I give Microsoft a little bit of pass only for the fact that at that point they were leveraging a Windows 10X build. That was what it was designed to do, and then they had to flip the script, and they had these because the 855s probably would have been.
Damn it, Microsoft.
Okay, right. Like I said, so again, still doesn't justify anything, but it doesn't excuse there. But I think it's a little different.
I'm not saying it's a good thing.
No, and like I say, I just think again. And maybe if it's 18 watt, can you make it like 30 watt?
Oh,
I don't think 30 watt.
30 should be the minimum. It should be the minimum.
And I don't think you're going to do a lot of battery damage versus extra wattage of that. Now you start pushing 50, 60. Now
even Sony uses 30, and they're quite well known for battery care.
Right. So I think there's a way to do it.
30 is fine.
But I think that would be something that you definitely want to. Yes, and 6 gig of RAM, 855, and you know what? I use it all the time, and it works fine. I mean, I've used it. I mean, it's 855's not great.
855 is a solid SoC still. It's just
and 6 gig of RAM. The only thing that it's like 4G.
I mean, if it ran Windows Phone, it'd run for another 10 years.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, and not only 4G, but no NFC, potato camera, one speaker. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's
sketchy.
Not. Yeah, it's sketch, but it was only
£1,500 or something when it came out, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a different state of, like, both foldables back then, and
I think it was, like, to a degree.
Yeah. Look at Google. They had like 6 Nexus lines, and now eighth Pixel line, so it's like 14 iterations of devices. I mean, the Duo was like, when it comes to Microsoft, I mean, the Microsoft Lumias were basically Nokia devices, not Microsoft.
Yes.
So I wouldn't count them as a device prepared by Microsoft.
I hated when they rebranded to that.
You
Oh
mean
my
this?
God.
You mean
That
this one?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
Google
still works
Pixel
great. I still
4.
use it.
But
Still-
how
Yeah.
good is that phone
Yeah.
still?
It's
It is.
awesome.
It's smooth. It's great. It's just
Yeah,
an
it works
855.
perfect. I took it to the Botanical Garden here in St. Louis, and I just thought I'm going to take some pictures with it. I wanted a Pixel. I just want to see how it
Still
surprisingly
amazing.
is
It holds
fairly.
up.
It's really capable. I mean,
It
it's not.
holds
And
up,
now,
yeah.
is it going to be going up toe to toe against anything that's contemporary from Samsung? No, but for the fact that I got it for like $100 and I got the orange, but as far as like the weight of it, the screen, the only thing the battery is not great, but the Soli radar, God, I really like. I like
Brilliant,
that.
man.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Why could they not put that in the Fold? If you've got that,
No,
do you know what I mean?
yeah, you already got the bezel.
You've got the
Why-
bezel. Like,
why not
stick
just throw it
in
in
there, man?
I mean,
Yeah.
not even those like hand gestures, which never worked as expected, but only for like unlocking, right?
Face unlock. Yeah, that's all I care
Yeah.
about.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's the one thing I absolutely love about the iPhone. Is having Face
That's
ID,
true.
and I loved
That's
having
true.
it on the 4XL. Absolutely loved it.
It was great.
Yeah.
Um,
I was even comparing the 4XL with Pixel 7 Pro. And when
Yes.
it comes to portraits, the 4XL was better than the 7 Pro, because all the algorithms that Google has for portrait photography, they're like strictly designed for those old sensors that Pixel 4 and Pixel 5 still had, and it's taking better portrait shots than Pixel 7 Pro. So
Yeah.
here's your answer. Yeah,
I remember
they still hold up really
comparing
well.
the 4XL to the 6 when that first came along,
Mhm.
and the 4XL was just, it looked better to me in some regards, and it was
Less
it was also
processing.
able to focus on things up close a little bit better as well.
Mhm.
I think there was one thing I was focused on, like a dangling like dead leaf on a web, and the 4XL nailed it straight away, and the 6 just would not focus on it at all. It was like, nope,
Mhm.
not having it, not a
Well,
chance.
and I just think how it's funny how the 5 series of they just completely get forgotten. Like nobody talks
Yes.
about any of them. They just kind of like, yeah. Let's talk about the 6. Or hey, remember the 4XL? Let's just say it's just like it's like a bad relationship, right? You're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, we dated that guy for
Well,
a
it
couple
was
of months,
supposed
and
to
he's
have
kind of
Tensor originally.
Yeah.
right.
And
So they were behind on that, and that's why they've sort of been behind since.
I'll be the meme guy. Actually, looking at this right now, it maybe was like a conscious decision of them to make a big pause from the 4 to 5 to focus on the 6 series, because like the Pixel 6 was a restart for the Pixel lineup, right? And I think that they were like amazing with this phone. I love the 6 Pro so much, and it was maybe a good idea for them to like take a 1 year, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
1 year break and like treat
Yeah,
the
just
Pixel 5
not spend
as
a lot
as
of energy and
stopgap.
development time. Just like
Yeah.
you know what, it's fine, just whatever. We're kind
Yeah.
of shifting to Tensor. We know it's throwaway work, right? Throwaway development. We don't really care. We're moving on to the new hotness. So
Yeah.
if
And,
it kind of duds, it's fine, whatever.
A hot take right now. I still believe that manufacturers should switch to 2 years cycle. I mean, release a flagship once every 2 years and
I
make
think
it
I've said
really
this
good.
as well before.
Yeah, make
Right.
it really
Not
good.
a hot take. At least 2 of us have said it.
Yeah, I'm agree with.
Sam
and I
said it
and I had
before as
and
well,
I had no
actually.
problem with Duo 2 being not exactly the next year. I was totally okay with it being a little bit delayed. I agree. I think it's
Yep.
we're getting this 15, 16, 23, 24, 25. It's clearly not anything other than them just trying to get you to buy phones,
Yeah.
which are the same thing.
Yeah,
And-
because
yeah.
To be honest, is this one really lacking anything? The S23 Ultra. I mean, the big focus
No.
with S24 Ultra are those AI features, right? But this can be a software update. To be honest,
Right.
At least most of them can be a software update. And for me, release a flagship device 1 year, then prepare a big software update the year after, and release a new phone 2 years from the previous one. I would be perfectly fine with that. And a
Dave's
lot
got
of saved
decent
money as well.
Question there.
Yeah.
This is actually quite apt, really, because obviously this year the devices have been absolutely fantastic. and they will still be fantastic next year, and they will also be available for a discount.
Yeah.
Why would you buy a device in 2024 over what is available now? Why would you even upgrade? I mean, you shouldn't
Well,
upgrade, really.
well, especially if you bought the 8 Pro, because not only do you know that you have all those software features, it's literally has 7 years of support.
Yes.
You could even I'd even argue you could skip even 2 years. You could wait a third and really jump in and pick up something. Like I said, they could say, okay, Pixel 8 Pro is here. We're not doing a 9. We're going to do a Pixel X, right? And that's going to be in 2025, and that'll be
With
it.
a
No,
notch.
we're not even gonna come out and say our Pixel 10th anniversary series or whatever. We're going to skip it. And that's not coming out until 25. And watch if they announce that. Watch the absolute end of like chunks of the sky will literally start falling on people. That's what the
End of the world.
Oh yeah, it'll be like end of days kind of stuff. Like what do they have? It's like Google's stupid and I'm smart and you don't know anything and that's dumb. It's like,
Final days have arrived.
right.
Yeah.
It's I would agree. I agree with you guys. I'd even in some of those cases I'd even push it to maybe 20. I mean 36 months maybe would probably wouldn't be too crazy.
I think normal people aren't really upgrading every year anyway. They're just not doing it, obviously. But like people like us are just idiots.
Beautiful idiots.
But why do
definitely
we
idiots.
upgrade? Why do we upgrade? Is it just because we want the latest thing? Is it because we're after a specific thing to be better? I think a lot of the time at the minute it's cameras. But I feel like next year we're not really going to get much better than what we've got this year, other than maybe on telephotos, I think.
Yeah,
I think the mains. I mean, you've got like phones coming out this coming year that have still got the same, 1-inch sensor, that sort of thing. We're not really going beyond that at the minute. I've seen somebody posted something about a micro 4/3 or something
Yeah,
earlier,
I saw that
which
too.
I haven't looked into that properly yet, but it sounds interesting.
And I guess for me not being necessarily the camera, like I'm not looking for the camera thing. I don't mind taking pictures. I think what it comes down to is they purposely say, okay, in the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro or the 8 Pro, you can get, the audio eraser and all these other features. I guarantee you, if they made those software features available on the 7 and 7 Pro, there'd be no reason to buy an 8 Pro.
True.
Zero. There would be zero reason. The reason that's what they do. That to me is what I think the tech enthusiast people, obviously they can flex and go, I got the latest and greatest, right? But I think what happens is they realize they're aware that is a thing. Most regular people aren't really paying attention except for the commercials that tell them, hey, you can erase audio, right? But if nobody saw those commercials and they realize that feature isn't available on a 7 Pro, it's like, well, I can't do that. Well, no, you have to have the 8 Pro. I don't think most people would
I do wonder,
notice it.
Google have been sort of segregating features and things a lot more now compared to like what they used to do. And like your things like your video boost feature, isn't that all done server side?
Yeah, they can do it.
Why could you not do that on a 7 Pro or a 6 Pro?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Or the same thing with Samsung.
I don't know the reason.
You
I'm
can't
not saying,
put DeX on a flip. Yeah, right. Give me a break.
You can, yeah.
Just give me a break.
This was the main gripe for me this year with Pixel. And if I would have to like sum up the Pixel 8 Pro with one sentence, it could have been a software update. Because other than like putting a bigger telephoto sensor, which I'm not using at all other things that I liked about this phone could have been a software update to the Pixel 7 Pro. And this was like a big conflict for me given the price hike this year, because I feel that right now manufacturers are trying to like push everything into the AI wagon. It's kind of similar to what's going on with GPUs, right? There is like all the DLSS and frame generation stuff, and the raw rasterization performance is on a like second thought right now. And this is my main gripe. And to be honest, that the only thing that would like convince me right now to change the phone would be a big camera update, especially a telephoto quality update. But other than that, I don't feel that there is any reason to upgrade this year.
Because AI is the thing that they're going to push. I mean, obviously Snapdragon are doing it. Google's doing it. Not seeing that much from Apple
yet.
Exactly yet. But they're going to have to do.
Yeah, they are focusing on the Vision Pro this year. This will be the main focus.
But I don't feel like it's going to be enough to warrant you know, I mean, there's a lot of AI apps that can do a lot of things that you could probably do on
Yeah.
device anyway.
I
So
mean,
we'll have to see what we actually get. I mean, I think it's going to be it's the start of it. It's early days. It's going to be pretty basic. It's not going to be worthwhile initially.
yeah. I mean, AI is cool and can be very useful. I mean, it's cool, right? To be
Yeah.
able to like do this with a few clicks and clean up the photo and remove the car. It's like a very cool thing, but
But you could do that on a 7 Pro or a 6 Pro or
exactly.
anything.
This is like like hardware agnostic feature that I can use on any
Yeah.
phone right now. So yeah, the only thing that would like convince me would be a telephoto update, which is
So
why
cameras.
I like
Again,
the
yeah.
Vivo X100 Pro so
Do.
much.
I do like the look of that.
No.
But then the Oppo Find X7 Ultra is looking
This
pretty
is a
tasty as well.
yeah,
It's
big
looking even
mystery
more
right now.
tasty. Yeah, so we'll have to see if that becomes global.
Yeah.
There's rumors it might, so we'll see. But
David is asking about the Humane Air Pin. This will
I
be
haven't
a
looked into
big
that.
flop, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't actually looked into that very much. I do follow them, but I haven't really seen that much from them. I saw some people getting excited about it and ordering them, and then I've heard nothing since like since they received them.
Yeah.
So that tells you a lot.
I don't believe that there is going to be much more in the news pipeline regarding to this one. I believe that the fame just went away, and that's all.
Yeah, I just quickly checked when I saw that posted. I went to their website and checked it out. It's like, it's definitely not. It's pretty obviously there, right? It's not like conspicuous.
Yeah.
It's not like, it kind of be nice if you can make it into. I mean, you couldn't wear that with a suit, right? You couldn't just slap this, schlepp this thing on your chest. But it looks okay. I mean, I guess again, like a solution looking for a problem. I mean, I just don't think that anybody really needs anything like that. It's cool tech, and hell, if as tech enthusiast, I'm all for anything that's new and kind of different, and But I mean, for a mass market adoption, it probably is not going to be. I'm more worried about it. Like, how does it attach? And a lot of people are bumping, and you have a coat. You got to take it off, then put your coat on, take it off, put your coat on, and then you got to. There's a lot of logistical issues with it, and also it's just kind of this big, stupid, goofy looking thing on your lapel. And clearly it's got a camera, so that's gonna. I can tell you right now, if you walk in any place with basically essentially a GoPro strapped to your chest, is what it looks like. You're going to get a lot of trouble from people going, "Hey, you can't record," even though it's not on. It's one of those things where there's going to be issues with that. It looks like honestly, what it reminds me of? It looks like a police body cam.
Is it more of an issue over
Exactly,
there for
yeah.
you? Is it more of an issue like certain different states have different rules on that?
Well, recording, not in public. I mean, in public now. I mean, obviously, if you're coming into a private business, they can ask you to remove it because it's a private business, and that's not really a state thing. That's just whatever. Like I said, again, I'm getting real police body cam vibes to it. Again, for law enforcement, fantastic application. For regular dudes just gonna go buy groceries at the Hy-Vee,
Not so much.
I think it's kind of stupid.
What do you think of the Meta Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses?
I think they're cool. I like to try them. They look kind of badass. I mean, I've seen, and Joe had a chance to play with them, and then I see Jacqueline Dallas was kind of messing with them too. I'd like to check them out. I mean, and especially if you can put prescription lenses in them.
You can, apparently.
That would be pretty slick. I don't know if I would. Then we're starting to kind of like trudge that area of like, okay, intrusiveness and privacy issues, right? You got glasses that can record at the snap of a finger. Handy if you need them, but there's going to be a lot of people that may not really like that. In a public setting, you can't say anything, but in a private setting,
it's going to get more of an issue as time goes on, though, right? I mean,
especially as people get their rights violated.
Miniaturizes more and more, and they're going to be like, sort of thing you'd see in James Bond,
right?
Like this weird spy gadget.
I didn't know, like on the Fold 5, there's a app on your phone called Camera AI or Camera whatever, where you can set it up and you can actually like place your phone. I can set it up somewhere, and then you can open up your watch and then listen to what's going on. Dude,
you can listen?
Yeah, the audio, too. It opens up
shit.
the audio.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. And like I said, I just set it at Christmas time. I just set it on the table just to try it out after I had my watch. I was like, Holy cow, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
Just gonna walk away from the table, everyone. I'll be back.
Right. But then the only
momentarily.
thing is I'm really worrying about privacy issues and concerns,
Yes.
especially when people start getting stuff recorded and they're being, then there's lawsuits going on, and then states are going to, of course, governments are going to course correct and try to overreact and ban and restrict, and it's going to be an interesting time in the next 5 years on how all these things integrate within society. Oh yeah. Yeah,
just tech in general, I think it's going to get quite messy. Platforms,
slippery slopes,
hardware, AI.
I'm like I said, Elon Musk said what he says. Let's just hope when AI can replicate itself, that's when it's going to be a problem. And also, hopefully, when it happens, they like us at the time they decide to do it. Because if not, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, so
it's fine though, because we're going to regulate everything. It'll be fine.
Sure,
it'll be totally fine.
Yeah, the government's just going to step in. You guys can't have the thing and the clip it on your chest, and they can take the cameras and pictures, and you should. I did it back in the Civil War. I had one of those back then. So come on, man. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, especially when money and legal challenges come up. It's going to be interesting to see how that integrates to society. It's going to be a fun time. Hold on, everybody. It's going to get fun. And then I can record it. So it's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
It will be fun.
And then get arrested.
Sure. Yeah, it's okay.
We may as well start wrapping up. We've gone over an hour now, but any devices that you are eyeing up on purchasing the next year, other than all of them, Mac?
Can I say every device on Earth?
I mean, you can if you want, but what do you think you will definitely buy, if anything?
I was thinking about the S24 Ultra, but I don't know, to be honest.
You've got the S23 Ultra though, right?
Yeah.
So
I might try to switch it up for some Vivo or Oppo, but in 2024, I feel I will not be testing too much. I just don't feel like there's enough progress, at least from what we can see right now, for this to be a viable option. Maybe closer to the end of the year. But what I'm most hyped about and what I'm waiting for is actually on the PC landscape and Windows landscape is the Snapdragon X Elite, because I really think that this can even up the playing field between Windows laptops and macOS laptops.
Genuine game changer.
I hope. I mean, I'm confident in the hardware. I have no issues believing that X Elite, X Elite will deliver. What I'm more worried about is the software side, because Apple had Rosetta 2, which was really a perfect and genius piece of software that really helped with the transition period. But Microsoft, I would be very cautious right now, because they can either make it really good and put the settings down in here and turn the page, or they can do what Microsoft can do best and just release something and hope that the developers will do their work, which they won't, because they've been burned enough times already. So
But maybe the developers do sort of see this as this is actually the crossover point. This is the crossover point.
It might have be a crossover point, if not the biggest plus and the biggest advantage, and at the same time disadvantage of Windows, which is backwards compatibility. They cannot do what Apple did with shutting down the x86 branches, because they have too much corporate clients that use the old versions of Windows. They would need to keep both for a long period of time, and this will be the biggest challenge in here.
I just wonder if they can keep doing that. At some point, is there just going to have to be some sort of give? Can you get around all of it with software? Can you?
You cannot. I mean, I've been working in manufacturing as well in one of my previous jobs, we had like a glass manufacturing sites where the computers that were the pieces that were there were from like 1995, 1996, and they were still
crazy.
using the same piece of software, which is like crazy because there is like wholly different universe of hardware and requirements that's like totally out of the scope what a regular user keeps thinking about on a daily basis.
Yeah, and the fact that the Navy was still using Windows XP for a lot of their missions and guidance systems back in the day, and
Windows,
the fact that
Windows 95 and 98.
yeah, and then the fact that DoD actually has spent money sending money to Microsoft just so they can continue to patch that just for DoD, just because it's just they're using old. I mean, it's just the way they are. It's a shame. So funny how that works.
Crazy. Crazy stuff.
Honestly, nothing at the beginning of the year because I don't, unless something magically comes along. I am, and I told people this before. If the Pixel Fold improvements really happen as far as software and hardware, I'm gonna, and especially if Samsung comes out with the Fold 6 and it's just kind of another iteration of the same device, I think I'd try a Pixel Fold. I was kind of on the fence of getting either one. I went with the 5 just because of the I think Microsoft's, or I mean, sorry, that Samsung is a little bit farther along than Google at this point with the foldable. I'm curious if they can come up with some pretty good hardware and software improvements on the Fold 2. I may go and take a swing on that and try that and run that for a year and see how that works. That's what I would look forward to see. That's what I'm kind of keep my eye on, because considering the fact that also Duo 3 is probably not going to happen. I think the Pixel Fold 2 is probably where I'd like to try just to see how that looks. But I do like the OnePlus Open. I like the open canvas approach to the multitasking. I really think that's a slick way to do it. I like how you can kind of just move things around into like that. I really wish that Google.
I think that'll get copied. I think so, because
I think it's a fantastic software way to handle multitasking on a single screen device. I'm curious to see how that kind of work. We'll see. That's what I'm keeping my eye on at the back end of the year. Pixel Fold.
So foldables in particular.
Absolutely. I don't care about a slab phone anymore. It's just not my thing.
No, I get that. A lot of people just sort of finding that to be the interesting thing now.
Yeah.
Well, Snapdragon X Elite for me, 100%. Just quick plug for Windows Central, who apparently had a bit of a leak for the new Surface devices running it. Going to be launched later next year, I believe. Could be interesting. I'll have to look at getting one. Phone-wise, I'm definitely going to get the Xperia. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen. Like you thought it wouldn't.
No surprise.
So shocker, right?
Shocker. The iPhone is going to be getting traded in. So I'm probably going to switch it for the S24 Ultra. We'll see how we get on with that. And I do want to try another foldable this year because I haven't, other than the Fold 4 that I had at the start of this year, I haven't really had another one to try. Not a full fold anyway. So the Pixel Fold 2 is what I am eyeing up. For similar reasons to you, Sam. And I just think foldables are a bit finicky with the camera side of things. And I just think Pixel Fold is just going to give you a bit more of a consistent camera experience, because it doesn't really, we've just been talking about the 4XL with its smaller sensor, and it's still great. Like,
although I've been impressed, the Fold 5's camera system and the pictures it puts out, pretty decent.
I was fairly happy with the Fold 4, to be fair. Yeah, I was quite happy with it.
Yeah, especially the software features and stuff you can do.
I was more happy with the Fold 4 than I was with the S23 Ultra.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty impressed. The Fold 5 camera-wise, it takes pretty good pictures. I cannot complain about. I've been pretty pleased with overall performance with the Fold 5's camera.
Yeah, Ray-Ban Meta glasses I will be having. I just will. I want those. I want a new pair of sunglasses anyway, so I'm just like, well, okay, yeah.
You're already there, so it makes sense. You're already
may as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're already on the street. Just go to the house. It's cool. You're already in the neighborhood. Just drive on up. It's fine. Pick up a two. Maybe they got to buy one, get one. Maybe half off. Maybe you can get two. Give it to the missus. Then you guys can look at each other.
They actually were doing a buy one get one half price.
Oh, that's
at the Ray-Ban store.
That's cool.
That I went past, and then online as well. But yeah, I couldn't afford to dish that out at the time.
Right, I get you.
Just before Christmas. So yeah, I think that's probably. I mean, there's so many other. There's loads of things that I actually would want to get.
Oh,
If I had
of
the
course.
money, I'd be stupid.
Right.
I would be stupid. But
Thankfully, we don't have a lot of money, so it keeps us basically being broke. Tech enthusiast keeps us
it does
on
actually.
the
It
level.
actually does.
Yeah,
It's
helps,
probably for the
keeps us in line
for
because
the
it'd be
best.
like, you bought what? There's a
For
trailer
the
outside.
best. It's for the best.
There
Dan
may be
needs an
some things.
Xperia intervention. Yes.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, we'll see. I mean, if they don't really improve the One Mark V next year, and there's not really much to go on, then maybe I just won't get one.
Yeah, I'll still get one.
You will.
Yeah, well.
You'll still get one.
Yeah. Well, we'll. Oh, what's this? I have a pretty interesting message from Joe Biden to share with you.
Oh, here we go.
Go on
This
then,
will get
David.
spicy.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Anxiously waiting.
I'm intrigued now.
What are you talking about? I got to read all the words and I do all the things and then Kamala Harris. And it's great.
You really are a very good speaker, Sam. I have to say.
I have my moments. Don't get me
You
wrong.
are.
Did
the link post? No. You're not allowed links.
Oh no, linkage.
It's not even your own content. Shame on you.
Absolutely. Well, that's okay. If you put it in the chat, I'll just read it. I'll just read it next time. I can read
Link us on Twix. Link us on Twix. We'll have a look after and have
Absolutely.
a look at it.
Yeah, so that'll be a good way to. Yeah, he'll be doing good. So
a good way to wrap up. We'll wrap up there. Simon, thank you very much, mate. We are going to have some more phony shows going forward on this channel, and I think we might try some other things with Twix rather than doing it with Spaces because it's a little bit finicky.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just stream this to YouTube and Twix since they have video on there now as well. So thanks for hanging out, everyone, and joining us at the end of 2023. I mean, we've got a little bit of time left yet.
The last show of the year.
Last show of the year. We've only started it recently, of course, but we'll be back in the new year with more of us phonies. The other phonies will actually join us. It won't just be a pair of phonies. It will actually be a full bunch. Fortunately, Sam kind of made it a bunch, so we're all right. We're all right for today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for letting me crash your party. It's been.
I am very happy to have you on.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Very happy to have you on anytime, mate.
And don't be a wicked pisser. Okay.
It might happen.
I hope so.
Happy New Year, folks, and we'll see you all soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys and gals.
Bye.
Bye-bye.